welcome back to another video. I'm Wesley, this is Starseed Fitness. In this video I am going to finish up with part 2 of my experiences with DMT, the spirit molecule. And this will be covering my third and fourth, which was my final time thus far doing it. And stick around for the fourth one, because I thought that was the one that was the most interesting. So let's rewind a little bit. I had done it the first 2 times. I still hadn't broke through, and I was a little frustrated. And I didn't want to do it again because when at least I smoke DMT, it just kills my desire to do it. I mean, I think it's almost impossible to become addicted to it. I don't see how someone could, at least for myself, because it has no physically addictive properties, and mentally it's like the opposite. It's like, I don't want to do that again for a while. But again, that desire to break through and to experience that full level of that realm overrode that. So the next weekend, after my second time, I did it again, and I just was so focused. I was like, I'm going to break through this time. This will be the time I'm going to do it. I've done it twice now, and I know that the come up is going to be just so fast and intense, and I'm going to be ready for it. And I'm just going to stay my mind focused on what hit I'm on, and get to that third hit. So I sit down again on my bed, nerves flowing through my body. I'm just like kind of looking at the room like, okay, here we go again. Like, this is what we're gonna do. We're like, we can do this. Focus. So I'm just focused, and I decide that I'm going to hold my hand in the air with the number of hits I've done. And I thought maybe if I forget, because thoughts just stop working when it kicks in. So I thought maybe if I had my hand in the air with the number of hits I did, I would, even if I forgot, I would all of a sudden be like, oh, my hand's still in the air. This is what I'm on, so I need to do more. So I hold my hand in the air with one finger in the air as I compress the button on the vape pen, taking in the hit, and just inhaling until I cannot possibly feel my lungs anymore. And I just hold it. Hand in the air, holding it, and boom, kicks in just like the other times, just so intense and fast and surprising. The room shifts, again, where all of a sudden everything's sharp and has this weird, like, yellowish tint to it, and it's just perfectly geometrical. Everything is just perfect. And, I exhale that hit, I'm like, all right, we're going for 2. In my mind, I still have the capability to think, so I was like, okay, going for 2. So I hit the pen again, put the second finger in the air, inhaling, holding and holding. It's getting so much more intense and more intense. Everything's starting to go crazy. Like I had a dresser with a mirror across my bedroom on the other wall, and as I look at this mirror, there's this, it was so clear. It was like this portal, this like wormhole looking type thing that you would see in movies, and it was in a wormhole, like the entrance was spinning super fast, and even though there was nothing happening in the room, I had this perception that there was it was like sucking things into it, and I was seeing objects fly into it. And I say objects, but I saw things fly into it. It wasn't like I hallucinated that my lamp went flying into it. It just I saw what looked like something was flying into it, because it just was spinning and just sucking in whatever energy objects it was. And I had my second, my second hit, had my 2 in the air. And I remember seeing that and thinking that, seeing that portal and having a vague awareness that if I can take one more hit, I'm going through that portal. I'm going through, breaking through the other side. It wasn't really a thought, but it was an awareness. So if I can get one more, I'm going through that. And I can't even tell you what happened at all. I just forgot. As funny as that sounds. I forgot to take another hit. I forgot I was trying to get 3 hits. I forgot I did DMT. I forgot who I was. There was no, I was just broken down to a soul spirit level, and I was aware, but my physical body, any physical material objects, any physical material things, they didn't exist. They weren't there anymore. They, even though I had my eyes open for a part of this, there just was no thought of like, oh, I'm Wesley and I'm trying to take a third hit to break through. Just none of that was there. There was just awareness of I am here, I am now, I am. Like, this is just what it is. And so I wasn't able to take another hit because I literally forgot to do it. And the only thing I really remember from that experience is seeing, I was like flying over the earth. We'll call it like 30 to 40 feet above the earth, and I'm just flying. As I'm looking down at the earth, I see, it's like topographical. I could see grass and rocks and, come to think of it, I don't even know if it was the earth, but it kind of seemed like the earth, so I assumed that's what it was. And as like an overlay on top of this earth was a grid. And I don't really know how to describe it better than that, but it was like you would imagine a grid to be. Like, I think it was a yellow grid, I think. And for some reason I see yellow a lot whenever I do DMT. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if other people experience that. If you've done DMT, just drop in the comments if like you get yellow for like everything. Like everything I see on DMT is like yellowish. But I see this yellow grid overlaid on the earth and I'm just flying over it. Nothing else after that. Don't remember like a single thing after that. I'm sure there was more that happened, but that's all that was retained from that for some reason. That made an impression. So I was disappointed. I mean, like, really, I was disappointed. Because it's just, like, it's not easy for me to do DMT. I'm not doing it for fun. I'm doing it for answers. I'm doing it to try to understand myself and my existence more. And after the third time, I can't do it again. Like, I can't do this again. And there was a period where I thought I would never do DMT ever again in my entire life. I was kind of like, man, I'm good. Like, I don't have an interest in going through that again, even though they were all beautiful experiences and really amazing and profound and had an impact on me. I just didn't want to go through that intensity again, and just whatever that was, I didn't want to do it. So I kind of decided, like, I'll probably never do this again. And we fast forward now, a year later, and I've meditated a lot. I've done a lot of personal work and growth, and found a lot of things within myself throughout that time. And, it was a big year of just growth and new experiences and new friends and amazing people and evolving in my life. So I was with a friend, and they had DMT, and I didn't, it wasn't like I asked for it. I wasn't like, hey, can you see if you can figure out a place to get me DMT or something like that. It wasn't like that at all. It just, he got it and had it, and I happened to be with him. And they asked me if I wanted to do it. He's like, do you want to do this again? And I just thought about it, and it's like, I don't know, I had a different feeling this time. It wasn't nervous or scared, it felt different. I was just like, yeah, I think so. Like, it feels right. The other times, it wasn't that it felt wrong, but it felt like I was forcing it. Like, I just wanted so bad to have answers or have this experience that I was almost forcing myself into that world. And I think that probably is where a lot of the fear came from. And this time, I wasn't seeking it. It just kind of found me, and it felt right. So I was like, you know what? It feels right. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. So this time it wasn't a vape pen, it was freebase. So I've never done freebase, and it's much harder to do that properly than a vape pen, because it's easier to burn freebase. So my friend helped me out, just warming it up, and take in as much as I can. And I think I tried to take a second hit. I might have taken a second hit. I can't quite remember. It might have been like 2, but the second one might have been a smaller one, because I think most of it, or a decent amount, got burnt on the first go, because like I said, it's hard to do it right. So I inhale and I'm holding it in as long as I can, same as all the other times, smack hits, intense, and I'm just kind of ready for it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lay back, close my eyes, we're gonna go for this ride, we're gonna see what happens. So that's what I do. I lay back, I close my eyes, and with my eyes closed, I'm just like, oh, like I feel uncomfortable, I feel restless. I'm like, oh man, and then I feel like I'm suffocating. I'm like in my mind, like I can't breathe, like I can't breathe anymore. I'm going to die. And I just 100% believe that like I'm suffocating right now. I can't breathe. I'm truly going to die. And there was no awareness even really that I had smoked DMT. It just was awareness of, I think I'm going to die. And I remember almost kind of squirming. I don't know if I actually moved, but almost squirming, at least in my mind, of like, oh no, I'm going to die, but like how, but what about, I don't know. Like I didn't really know, but I was just like, but what about something, I'm leaving something. And then just something in me like released, where I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna die. That's fine. And I just was okay with the fact that I was going to die. I was no longer going to exist physically. And then I exhaled, and it turns out that I had forgotten that I was holding the inhale, and it kicked in strong enough that I forgot. But then, my body naturally, even if you're under the influence of this, your body's involuntary actions don't stop. So involuntarily, my body's like, we should probably exhale now. It's been long enough. And then I exhale, like, involuntarily. And then in my mind, like, all of a sudden I'm able to just, like, oh, it clicks. I'm like, oh, I was just holding my breath. I'm not going to die. Okay. Huh. Well, that's kind of cool. It's kind of funny now in retrospect. At the time, like, I 100% believed I was going to die. But then, when I kind of just released, and then kind of like, oh, shit, I'm not going to die. This is random, but I remember seeing like this weird like square cube thing, and it like went like popped through some type of wall barrier thing. No idea what that was about. Can't even begin to have an idea. That's just one of the things I remember. And then right after that, all of a sudden I was floating on my back, like this, almost like you'd be floating in water. And right above me, like right in front of my face, was an entity or a being, something. It was some type of being, and I think it was yellow again too. And as I'm here, I'm looking at it, just like it's like right up in my face, and I just feel very peaceful, very at rest, very, very relaxed. Like if you've ever had a really good meditation session or something like that, I felt like so relaxed, so at peace. And this being is just hovering over me, and there's these weird like popping noises where it's kind of like, not quite like that, but like bop, bop. Like I can't even do justice to it. Like I can't possibly imitate it. But there was these weird like kind of clicking type noises. And as this being's hovering over my face, I am aware that we are exchanging information. So for all intents and purposes, we are having some kind of astral conversation. There are no words exchanged, and it's not like a telepathic communication where I hear words in my head or like I translate. I get the feeling that we are communicating in some way, and I have no idea what it is. I just know we're communicating right now, and that information is being exchanged on some level. And I don't really remember quite how that comes to an end. I think that maybe I got a few more visions or something like that I don't remember. But then as the trip starts to fade a little bit, then your brain starts coming back online, and your awareness of your physical body and your existence starts coming back online. I was like, you know, there's this concept that everyone has spirit guides, right? And that we each have these higher dimensional beings assigned to us to guide us through life. And I find this very interesting. So as it was fading away, I'm like, well, now's the time to like as I'm halfway in this state and like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this realm, and I can have thoughts and I can kind of think, let me ask questions, let's see. So I just kind of asked for my spirit guides, and clear as day in my head, I hear them just kind of be like, yeah, like, hey, what's going on? You know, not quite like that, I'm paraphrasing, you know. They weren't like, what's up, dog? But they were just kind of like, hey, yeah, we're here. We're with you. What would you like to know? And so I asked a few questions. I remember I asked, first off, I think I asked something about like, how am I doing in life in general? And they spoke in this weird like excited cadence where it's like, oh, we're so happy to meet you, we're so happy to meet you, so we think you're doing so well in life, we're so very proud of you, we think you're doing so well and so good, and like they speak in this very like bubbly fast cadence. And like, oh, okay, like, you know, that's great to hear, you know, like that they are very encouraged. And you know, so I remember asking about my girlfriend. I was like, so what do you think of our relationship? And they're like, oh, we think you're both doing great. You're both facilitating each other's growth, and we're very happy that you're in this relationship, and we think it's very good. And you know, I can't remember the exact details, but it was something like that. And then I asked about one of my friends, and they were like, oh, we're so happy that, you know, you're with him. Like, you really help facilitate each other's growth a lot, and we think you're very good for each other. And there was a few other things in there, but that was kind of the main thing. And in my mind, it's just kind of like, oh, like, what the fuck is happening? Like, am I talking to my spirit guides just like a conversation? And it just was like mind-blowing that I had like this full conversation with these beings, and there was no visuals. There was no visuals at all. But the conversation was so fluid. It's not like I had a, you know, sometimes like if you think to yourself, you can have conversations in your head where you'll talk to someone, then in your head they respond to you, and then, you know, you can have full conversations in your head with other people, but it's all going on in your head, and you're thinking of the answers. This was so, I cannot begin to describe how weird it was that it was like I was hearing it in my head. I was not thinking it. I would think my questions, and I could tell the difference between that. But when the answer would come in, it was so external. It was so not. It was not even close to how I asked a question. You know, like the feeling was different, and it felt exactly like some external force was communicating with me without just sound in the third dimension. And I know that sounds fucking crazy. I know spirit guides sound fucking crazy. But I don't know what to say other than I talk to him, and I 100% believe in him. And you know, I talk to him all the time now. Now, granted, they don't say anything because I feel like my vibration is not high enough to have direct conversations with them. But I firmly believe that we all have spirit guides that are here to help us throughout life. And if you can raise your vibration and tune in, then you can have that interaction. I think DMT just allowed me to get a peek into what a higher vibration would be like. So, you know, I guess it's almost like prayer in a sense. I'll just kind of talk to my spirit guides and like, hey, you know, I'm having difficulty with this and problems with that. And, you know, I don't necessarily get an answer, but it is like praying, where it's just like you kind of get some comfort in maybe I'm not in this life alone. You know, maybe everyone is conspiring to help me, you know. So That was a while ago that happened. I don't know the exact time, but I'm gonna guess like 10 months ago or something in that vicinity. And I haven't done it. I've had the opportunity to do it again since then, and I just didn't want to. It didn't feel right. I'm gonna try to keep following how, like, my feelings of when I should do it, when I shouldn't, if I should ever do it again. And you know, if I had to guess, I would say I'll probably do it again at some point, but it needs to be for the right reasons. It needs to feel right. I'm just going to let the opportunity present itself. And while all those things align, maybe I'll do it again. And if I do, I'll share it with you guys. But yeah, that's kind of my experiences thus far. It's, even though I haven't broken through, you know, because I've wondered if I maybe did on that last one. But you know what they say is if you have to ask, if you broke through, you didn't break through. So so I didn't, but I feel like I got the experience I was hoping for in my last time. That type of thing is what I was hoping for, at least. So we'll see what the future holds. Yeah, see what happens. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like it, share it with your friends if you found it interesting. It helps my channel grow. I appreciate you all that watch very much. Much love to you all. Have a good week.